go out there and punch that person in the face. Or take on that person that wants to show them who you are. Hola, welcome back to our channel where we study, discuss, and add knowledge so that we may know more and be more. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. We are glad to have you, and we ask that you stick around because you love it here. We've been discussing the matters arising from the podcast that stirred me so much that we decided to just break it down and look at how we can benefit from what that podcast revealed about man and how we are generally. And we started first by talking about the D's that we should not take to the public, that we should manage with discretion. I'll just quickly run through them. The D's are despair, distress, discouragement, disappointment, dissatisfaction, and in some cases, depression. And we said that the best way to handle these D's is to be discreet about them. And then we went on to talk about the power of self-control, engratia, which is the Greek word for self-control, literally meaning holding yourself in, and that your future self will always thank you if you practice just a little bit of self-control at every point you are faced with a decision to act. And then we talked about the tongue and placing a premium on words. This tongue will always reveal the character of a person. Immediately the mouth opens, you can locate a person. And we said we should place a premium on our words so that we speak forth words of grace, words that are seasoned to the hearer. And then last week we talked about when to go to a podcast, because all of this gist stemmed from the podcast. And we said that we should go to a podcast after we've dealt with those D's by going to the qualified or supportive personnel that can help us, like a counselor, a therapist, a mentor, a coach, a parent, a family member, or a loved one, like a friend. Those people that can either offer us professional guide or support, then we can go to the podcast where we now educate, entertain, enlighten, encourage based on our experience and expertise from whatever things that we gleaned while we were experiencing those D's that were at least outlined. So, but today we're going to just bring everything to a climax, all this discussion. And the direction I want us to look at is acknowledging our nature as humans. We are characterized as human beings with appetites and aggressions. That's how we are. That's our makeup. It's not something that we can run away from or shy away from. But there are ways to manage these defaults. These are makeup. The scripture that says man shall not live by bread alone is a good place to start, because the appetites are there. The appetite for food, for sex, for water. There are several other appetites. These are like on the physiological level, basic needs. And then of course it goes on to more larger appetites, like the socio-economic ones, the status ones. We want the luxury items, the cars, the travels, the position in society, the accolades, and all of those things. Those are all the appetites that we are characterized by. That is how we are made as people. Then we have the aggression, where we are in the fights. We are all about showing, defending. Either we're fighting or we're defending. It's either we're the ones showing the aggression or receiving. So the aggressions show up in how we defend, how we overcome, how we face situations head on and tackle them. We take up challenges, we take up great feats and subdue them or conquer them. That's how we are made. Appetites and aggressions. But there has to be a balance. We can't just let loose like that and let everything run amok. That's why somebody would open their mouth and just blab and just talk with no restraint. It's how the primal nature of man shows up. That's the primal nature of man. That tendency to just say it as it is, do it as it comes to your mind. Don't think about it. Don't care. Or just go out there and punch that person in the face. Or take on that person that wants to show, or show them who you are. The basic primal nature of mind as appetite or aggression. But we can't go about like that. We must know to be better, because we have to coexist with other people. There's a place for civility. There's a place for cordiality. There's a place for coexistence. And that's why we apply all these restraints we were talking about in previous video. How can we curb these our appetites and our aggressions? Remember, all of these discussions stem from that podcast that just showed up, and there was little discretion or decorum, or it just no holding back of any bit. In fact, that podcast is a typical example of the characteristic of man when the appetite and the aggression is in full display. But some ways we can manage this nature of ours, manage these impulses, these stimulants. We discussed it, I think, in one of the videos. I can't remember which day. But, pause. Just before you give in to that stimulation, whether it's an appetite or an aggression, pause. Take a little time to check. Just pause for a little bit and process it. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be for too long. Just process it again. Think again. Just double check. Think twice. Should I notice? Is this absolutely necessary? Pause. That's one way to checkmate these appetite and aggressions that we're characterized by. Another way is to channel the energy. Channel the energy in a more productive way. Channel the energy of aggression into taking up tasks, taking up projects. Put that energy in accomplishing stuff that will be beneficial to you and your world in any way, big ways, little ways. The appetites as well, same thing. Channel them to more productive use. Channel the appetites to meaningful goals instead of short-term fixes that just give you a quick dopamine fix. More long-term meaningful goals. Aggression, problem solving, high intensity achievements, all those kinds of things. Physical exercise even. Channel the aggressions that way. So that's the second thing. The third way is to change the narrative. Change your perspective. What is like we said, I think we said one of the videos, I can't remember which one. What can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? You see? Change the narrative. This thing that seems like a defense, like a setback, like an attack on me, that seems like a weakness. What is it teaching me? What can I learn from it? Change your perspective. This is not for my undoing. This is not going to undo me. This appetite, this craving, this urge. Why is it there? What is the lesson? How can I use it to be a better person? Just change your perspective. Change your narrative. The aggression. Why do I tend to be so defensive, so highly stimulated by little things? Why do I tend to lose it? Change your perspective. Look at how whatever it is you're experiencing based on those appetites and aggressions can work for your good. Another thing is to set some boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself, so that when willpower is low, you already have some things in place to keep you in check, like schedules, budgets, accountability, stacking habits. I'm doing this, and this will lead me to do this. Just for yourself, things that will just generally keep you in check and, curb those excesses that tend to stem from these appetites and aggressions. One more thing we could do with this, a way to manage. I think we've said 4 things now. The 5th one would be to identify the triggers. What triggers these things? What triggers the appetites? What do you see? What do you hear? What environment triggers maybe the excessive urge to do the things that you know that you should control? What makes you overeat? What makes you want to hurt somebody? What makes you flare up? What makes you become all defensive and ready to show them? What triggers those aggressions? What triggers those appetites? just identify the triggers. If it's your environment, if it's something that you that comes to your mind, just pay attention to the triggers. Yeah, I think we can recount. We talked about practicing the pause, talked about setting boundaries, we talked about channeling the energy, we talked about changing the perspective, that's changing the narrative, and then lastly, identifying the triggers. Some of these things will help us just generally be better. Remember, on this channel, we're all about knowing better so we can be better. And we can't throw ourselves away. This is who we are. This is how we're made. But we have the wherewithal. We have been equipped with tools to manage ourselves as creatures that are characterized by aggressions and appetites. So I don't think we should welcome those excuses that keep us in a place where we'd rather choose to do stuff and get away with them and make an excuse for them. No, I think we should continue to strive to be the better people that we can be, because we have it in us. We can do it. And instead of going out there to just give it all out, show it all up to the world, this is who I am, this is how I am, I really can't do anything about it, just accept me. Like, no, calm down, hold yourself in, exercise some discretion, and look for ways to manage your aggressions and appetites. We have to bring this to an end. The videos were so long this period, but I hope you have learned something. I have. These discussions have been so helpful. I didn't even know they were going to go this way. Like I said, there was some other topics scheduled for this period, but I'm glad we did this. Please share all of this. This will be put in a playlist. I don't know what it will be called, but put in a playlist. Share it with someone that will find it useful. Subscribe to this channel. Come back every time so that we can have these discussions to help us know more and be more. Yes, it's important. You and I, from where we are, we just choose to be better. All right. Till I see you again, same time next time. Remember to like and subscribe. Adios.